Sitting in the bleachers in the rain. We've shed a million tears and drank as many old style beers out at the game. Let's go Cubby, Son Ranto, Son Ranto, Son Ranto and the lovable loser. Son Ranto, Son Ranto, Son Ranto and the lovable losers. Son Ranto.
Oh, beautiful for one of three we took from the Phillies, and Ian Happ hit 2 dogs today, so we have hope again. Dun, 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 dun. Chicago Cubs. I will.
That was amazing.
Not really. It was just, in really difficult moments in life is where you get the most inspired to write music. Breakup songs.
Oh yeah, God! If Taylor Swift was just a Cubs fan, imagine the number of albums she'd put out there.
Yeah, I mean, no, she would be double album every freaking 3 months, easy. So she'd be writing about the trade deadline right now. So, hey, welcome to the Son Ranto Show. We weren't going to do this. It is the 4th of July. It is Thursday when we normally go. And so we're going to do Friday, but then that didn't work out. So we're like, all right, we moved it back to Thursday. So if you're here pre-fireworks, or I don't know where y'all are right now, I'm watching it. You might be in a different country where you don't celebrate our independence from a king on the week that we decided to have a king again. So yeah, it's like pretty special night here on Son Ranto because monarchical show for the Son Ranto Show. It's pretty exciting.
Yeah. Oh my God. It has been a freaking week. And there is only one good thing that happened this week, and that was today. And it was the Cubs kept from being swept yet again. This is insane for a team that is as bad as they are to not have gotten swept this entire year. I think they're one of only 2 teams to be able to say that this year. But I really thought it was going to happen today. If you were smart, you put a lot of money on it, and you are rich now.
I will say that you did. You called it. You said in the Patreon on the Discord, you're like, if you want to win some money, this is how you do it, because the Cubs have not been swept this year, and they weren't. And I guess
I said it on Cubspot today too, but then I immediately backtracked because I was just like, do not spend money that way, because I thought for sure. I mean, look, consult your own financial advisor. Don't be listening to me, because I can't believe the Cubs won today. Honestly, I really did not have any hope for them, but apparently it takes PCA getting stitches to be pulled from the lineup and not having Michael Busch, who has been one of their best players, taking those guys both out of the lineup. That's what leads to wins.
Yeah, David Bodie is what leads to wins, my friends. It's really what it is. But anyway, thanks for being here with us tonight, especially our Patreon supporters. There's 110 of you, and you guys are awesome. Patreon.com/SonRanto is how you can be involved in it. And if you want to hang out with us in the Discord, I'll go over there afterwards tonight. I got to work in the morning, so this is just kind of like a normal Thursday at this point. I ate a little barbecue, listened to some band at my mom's building that was playing some patriotic things.
Yeah, I have to work tomorrow as well, and
most people do, I think.
Yeah, which is stupid. Come on, people. Let us have the day off. Nothing's going to happen tomorrow at really most any work, unless you're working in some sort of a customer-facing job. Then you're going to be busting your ass tomorrow because so many people took tomorrow off. So, sorry for you. But the rest of us, we're just gonna be sitting around at work, like wondering why we're even there.
Why we're there. I know I saw this meme going around being like, have fun at work tomorrow, England. And I was like, the English get like 5 weeks off a year. So they're probably not, they're in Spain right now fucking around. So, not really like learn who you're making fun of before you actually make fun of them. I mean, I mean, if you want to make fun of anybody, just yet, which you shouldn't, there are people in this world that work very hard all the freaking time. And it is not the English. It is not.
Right. It's not the Europeans. Those dumb Europeans were over here just like, we are free. We have everything. Meanwhile, half of our workforce doesn't get any vacation. The other half gets 2 weeks out of an entire year that they may or may not be allowed to take. While in like Norway, they're taking like 6 weeks a year just for the hell of it from the moment they get a job.
They get maternity and paternity leave until the kid's 18 is my understanding. It's an incredible system. I'm going to go there and just start having sex. This is just to try to have a child.
Which is going to be impressive because some of us know that that's impossible, Danny.
Some of us know, but not everybody.
Nobody in Norway.
Nobody knows in Norway. So hashtag chance in the chat. Mike Waller's here from the Cubs PS Plus podcast. And his last show was great too. I love he is such a, your show with him was great when you guys had that conversation the other day, and then he released one just the other day. I just love the way he thinks about the roster, zooming in, zooming out, kind of reminding everybody, just the process of things. Like he's really good at seeing processes, I think, and just how the lineup is constructed, what went wrong, what went right. Like, and he says it very plainly in a way that a dumbass like me can understand. So I quite appreciated. Roberto Ramos is here. He's working. That's Captain Cubbo retail. It sucked today. So be nice to your retail people, but he's off the next 2 days. He'll be at the game. So if you're out there, I'll be there tomorrow with Jose Orlando Mercado, who's in town from Puerto Rico with his family.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Well, that's very cool. Yeah, I think I saw him in the Discord today saying they never score 10 runs when I'm watching in Puerto Rico.
Yeah, he's got to stay in town. Like there's only one way. He texted me a picture of Bleacher Jeff. He's like, first Bleacher Jeff sighting. I'm like, that's like taking a picture of a pigeon at the park. Like, if you would have shown that section of the crowd and said, where's Bleacher Jeff? That would be more like, I don't know. Like, let's figure it out. Like, anyway. This show is brought to you by Blake Beard and his tickets. Also, Rogue Wave Creative and Mike Waller and the Cubs PS Plus podcast and our Patreon Prize of the Month sponsors, Matt Kammerer and his awesome permanent paintings on Etsy and In the Clutch t-shirts. Hashtag chance in the chat if you would like to win a Frank Chance postcard sent to you by me with a message of love and doom. Blake Beard's here doing just that. By the way, Blake Beard's tickets are up for auction right now.
This is the last week, right?
This is the last week. So it's on, if you can go to Wrigley on July 19th, these are freaking baller seats. I'm going to drop the link in the chat. It's $10 to try to win these suckers. Here's a view from the seats. Not too shabby. What is that? It's like the 100 level.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, you're seeing every single play at the plate.
Yep. Yeah, this is a good spot. You can see the ball moving coming out of the pitcher's hand from that angle.
Oh, there it is. It says right there, row 4, section 115, row 4, seats 1 and 2. So aisle seats too, if you're that kind of person. So I was going to record this, but I didn't have time today. But I wrote an America Fuck Yeah parody. From Team America World Police.
Oh, yeah.
America, fuck yeah. So I was riding my bike home from my mom's and it just popped into my head. And so I just wrote it down here. I'm gonna sing it for you live.
Oh, nice.
Chicago Cubs, Chicago Cubs, Chicago Cubs, Fuck yeah. Got a bullpen to blow the motherfucking game. Yeah, Chicago Cubs. Fuck yeah. Striking out and double plays. Yeah, already out of it in June. We stink worse than Ronnie Woo Woo. Chicago Cubs. Fuck yeah. Best manager, but we still suck. Yeah, Chicago Cubs. Fuck yeah. Jed wasted $200 million. Yeah, they were supposed to be good. Now we're waiting till next year. Contact play. Fuck yeah. Strikeout looking. Fuck yeah. Two plants. Fuck yeah. Shitty defense. Fuck yeah. Cup snakes. Fuck yeah. Beer bats. Fuck yeah. Bleacher Jeff. Fuck yeah. No trade clauses. Fuck yeah. No clutch. Fuck yeah. Boot Shiabi. Fuck yeah. Zach Zaidman. Fuck yeah. Fuck yeah.
Oh my God. Beautiful.
Fuck
I can't
yeah.
I can't wait till you get that out on TikTok or something.
Yeah, well, now it's too late.
Oh. Now
But
it's
you
too
did-
late?
I mean,
No.
it's an America song. I should have done it. Should have had it ready to go this morning. But
Danny, every day is a day to love America and the Chicago Cubs,
yeah,
regardless of what they do to us.
yeah, exactly. Let's not get into it, but we will get into. We decided because June is over. Thank Christ. I guess. I mean, is July any better? There's less games. That's helpful.
Right. There's, like I said on the Cubs pod today, which you get every single day into your ears, even if it's super late because somebody overslept like I did. You know, I'm a little concerned about Ian Happ, who has been on a tear, having half a week off. He is known for just disappearing every other month. And I just don't want to see him like take any time off.
No, that is a good point. Well, maybe he'll be our lone all-star and get to keep playing. I mean,
You know what? Let's have that discussion in a little bit because that's a good discussion. It's not in our notes, but and people in the chat, I want you guys to start thinking about it. We'll bring it up maybe in Act 2.
well,
Let us know who you think our lone all-star should be. And that's not counting pitchers because I think the pitchers is easy.
Well, it's got to be somebody that will look good in this jersey. So and it's not too many guys. I don't think anybody can really pull this off.
Who's
Really?
okay? Maybe it's just a picture. Maybe it's my computer. Is that a salmon? Is that like a salmon sleeve on that American League there?
It's unfortunately oranger than a salmon. Like they've somehow made it fluorescent salmon a color. Like I didn't know that was possible. Like, what if we took salmon and made it fluorescent and glow in the dark?
So normally,
It's like a bad Dunkin' Donuts.
oh my God,
It's like these guys.
absolutely. That was supposed to be a joke though. Unlike these jerseys that are supposed to be collector's items. Here's the thing. It's going to be down at the Texas Rangers ballpark because everybody gets an all-star game except for the Cubs when they redo their ballparks. Normally, the teams go with a color scheme that matches up with their own color scheme, right? What is this? It's like, throw that up there again. We've got like a teal bluish, more bluish than green, but like a teal and a salmon. I mean, this should be for the Rays circa 1998.
Not even. It's the Marlins jersey, right?
Marlins,
I mean,
there we
that
go.
is the Marlins jersey. I mean, it looks like the Miami Dolphins as it is. You know, this could be the Miami Marlins. But I don't know. Maybe they got confused and it wasn't supposed to be in Texas. And like there was like a bad email. I thought it was supposed to be the Marlins and some intern messed up and sent the wrong thing. They're like, actually, nobody buys these anyway. Just put it out there anyway. Everybody will go crazy.
They're
And-
still a year off from when they took the game away from Atlanta.
Yeah, exactly. Like, oh, you didn't get that email? Yeah, we're doing Florida next year.
Yeah.
We were going to give it to him as soon as they got rid of that ugly home run sculpture. This is what that looked like. Oh no, sorry, that's the Dunkin' Donuts guys again. So, but let's do some rakes, flakes, throws, blows because June is over and we got to know what happened with our players. So, are you ready?
I'm absolutely ready. Let's see the old dude.
Okay.
Today I'm going to show you how to rake.
Oh God, the sad part about me calling him an old dude is that I absolutely have stood like that. I've worn that exact same shirt, those pants. The only difference is that my hair hasn't gone completely gray yet.
Not completely. So I'm going to put
All
up
right.
the offensive numbers too. I have them here.
Okay, you can throw those up there. Now,
This is June. This is June. And
this is for June 1st to the 30th. So unlike May, the June Raker is probably not going to be a surprise to anyone. Remember, I surprised everyone by going with Morel for May, and nobody really saw that coming. I thought I explained myself well, though.
Yeah.
But this month, it's just obvious. It's Ian Happ. So Happer is tied for the most home runs. There's like 3 guys at 5 home runs. He's tied for the most doubles. He has the most walks. He's second in runs scored, and he's way ahead in RBI for the month. So, like, now that's not saying that these are necessarily great numbers. Like, if he could sustain 20 RBI every month, those would be great numbers. But that's, I'm sure there are other teams that have guys that have gone well over 20 RBI in a month. But he's the best on our team for June. So, also, if you're wondering, like, sometimes you're like, Ian Happ doesn't seem like he's that great. Well, he also has the most strikeouts in June as well. So maybe that's what you're noticing.
I mean, this is like a beauty contest at a leper colony. You know what I mean? It's like, what are we looking at here? It's like, what?
Yeah.
Sorry if there's any lepers listening tonight. I don't mean any offense. It's a figure of speech.
Yeah, we feel bad for you, lepers, and we also want to tell you, if you are a leper, you would absolutely be allowed to play on this team. They would not put you on the IL. They do not care what parts of your bodies are falling off. The Cubs play everyone every day. It's just like Little League.
Yeah, you know why there was what happens in a leper hockey game? A lot of face-offs.
Oh man, love it. God.
So he's the raker, Ian Happ.
Absolutely.
Obviously not suffering from leprosy this year. Well, this month, I should say.
This month, right? Because he could easily lose an arm next month. It happens to him every single time. Here's the other thing. Ian Happ, since we're talking about him real quick, 2 3-run homers today.
Yeah,
which is impressive. Notice nothing kills a rally like a 3-run homer. That's all they scored in those innings. But Ian Happ did it, and he did it from both sides of the plate. And here's the thing. I looked up his numbers the other day. He's hit like double the home runs from the left side, but it seems like he hits the ball harder from the right, doesn't it?
he says he does. He said that on his podcast the other day.
Oh, well, then I'm seeing the same thing Ian Happ is seeing, and I don't understand why the numbers don't show that.
Well, he doesn't get as much of a chance to hit righty. I mean, and I think, that's fine.
Oh, yeah, I guess that makes sense because he's only getting to hit righty when he's got left-handed batter or pitchers up, and that's maybe one time every other game.
Yeah, I mean, and I want to bring up our numbers against lefties because it's absolutely abysmal. But yeah, Happ, he does have more power from the right side, and so that's interesting. I mean, he hit 20 some odd home runs as a rookie, and he's never really matched that again. He's never gotten back to that.
He hit 25 as a rookie, I think.
Wow,
like he really ripped into it that year. Unfortunately, he did not hit much of anything else. It was outside of the homers. It was a pretty abysmal batting average back when other people had pretty good batting averages.
Yeah, back in the days of batting average.
Yeah.
So, are you ready for flakes?
Absolutely. Let's roll.
All right, I'm gonna put the lady on.
I haven't worried about flakes since my grunge days. Remember them?
Okay. So I kind of don't want to go with Miguel Amaya because he's got like half the at-bats of Bellinger, who has the most at-bats in June. But Amaya is so bad that the small sample size isn't going to get him out of the flaker this month. Like, he's been terrible, obviously. On the plus side, he hasn't actually struck out that much, but he just can't hit. That's the problem. And he has the same number of hits as he does strikeouts with 10, which is insane. But his OPS right now is 453, and that's only 8 points higher than Gomes, who got canned. So, I mean, that's pretty bad.
It's really bad. And then you pick up Nito, who is 1 for 15 since he came up here. And this was the freaking answer. Like, why did you even get rid of Gomes? Gomes was at least 2 for 13. I mean, I guess Nito can maybe throw out more runners or something. I don't know, but he's not good.
That was my point, was that when Nito tries to throw out a runner stealing second, he almost gets them versus having no chance at getting them.
Hooray. I didn't really realize how bad PCA's numbers were for the month of June. Holy moly, he struck out 27 times in 69 at-bats.
Nice.
That's against 3 walks. Now, if that guy could, walk anywhere near anyone, I mean, like a normal walk rate, like that is an abysmal walk rate, that he's got going on right there. But then it's a double. Now I love you. Now you're good again if you can freaking take a pitch. But
that's the thing. Everything's a double for him. The second he gets on base, it's a double.
Yeah, I don't know why they're putting him out there every day. I mean, he wasn't there today, but he just got stitches in his hand. But with those numbers, I mean, I know you want to get him the experience. Maybe you let this play until the All-Star break, and then you kind of give him a breather or something. But whatever he's certainly not adjusting in real time at this moment. But you got to give it time. I don't know.
I actually do think I'm trying to bring up my last 7 days here and see, because it feels like he's been better recently.
Well, he's just always doing cool shit. I mean, right. He hit like 2 triples the other day, didn't he? Well, it was either a triple and an error. He's got 10 hits out of 69 at bats. Nice. And 2 of them are triples. And that's an exciting play. So you remember these great shit he does, but most of the time he's striking out.
Yeah. It's really just recency bias because he had 2 hits for RBI yesterday. Yeah. That's the only thing that's going on here.
Yeah, it's bad. But the defense plays, I mean, nobody's arguing that, but it's just like, wow. I mean, it's like having a pitcher hit. I mean, worse.
Yeah, he's hitting 189 over the last 2 weeks, and that's just consistent. That's just like what he's been doing consistently. But you know what? I'm all for it. Let him play every day. He's better in center field than anybody we have. And I mean, that 188 is better than his season 162. No, his last 30 days.
Yeah. Well,
so
this
is actually getting better.
What I'm showing on the screen right now is June. Only June. Doesn't even include his hitting yesterday. Doesn't include it. So,
but he needs. This is the thing. This is one of the things we've bitched about over the years. This team's going nowhere. We know this. There is no reason to put him on the bench, unless of course he cuts his finger wide open and has to have stitches, and then maybe a stint to Illinois for a few days might be okay. But no, let him play. This is what they should be doing. And Bellinger can DH. He can give let's not use Wisdom at first base and put Bellinger over there and give Bush a day off when he needs it. Give PCA a day off when he needs it. Give Seiya a day off when he needs it. It seems weird because you wouldn't think a $30 million player would basically be relegated to the 4th outfielder. But if that's ultimately better for this team than not giving PCA
Well, and
the
you-
opportunity. I
And you
think.
got the DH too, so you can work him in there either way if you need him to be there. And you,
There's no reason you have to take Bellinger out of your
Yeah.
actual lineup or any of these guys really because of the DH.
well, and give why is PCA playing every day too? Like that doesn't make sense to me. Like he's been out there just like constantly. If you look at the amount of at bats that guys have, like he's pretty up there. It's not. It's almost as many as Michael Bush, who you're totally going with. Completely.
And Michael Bush is playing a much less physical position.
Yeah, so I mean, he's got a lot of at bats. He's definitely seen. At least he's getting the experience, which is what we've all wanted to happen this whole time. Hopefully, he learns how to hit. I mean, because it's going to get to a point of unplayability if you're going to start trying. But if you look up and down the bottom of this roster and some of these other kind of characters that might be in line for the flaker of the month, it's quite possible that those guys could be gone just because you do want to see what you've got out of your young dudes coming up from the minors. Like, I think now you bring up your Canarios. Like there was, maybe Shaw, like, let's just give these dudes roll them in there. And like, now everybody give your veterans a day off a week now. Like there's no point to it. There's no point to getting him out there, maybe getting injured. You're not playing for anything anymore. The season's freaking over. Everybody freaking knows it. And
I've been advocating for that for a long time, giving everybody a day off every week. Like you can absolutely do that. There's no reason you can't. And it would possibly keep these guys a little fresher, and I mean, obviously the injuries and stuff take out of that.
More than that, I don't even care about that. Like if you're in a pennant race, fine. Play on a broken foot. I don't give a shit. Do what you got to do. But if that is not the case, I want to see the kids play. I want to see some development. I want to see these guys get some major league experience. These AAA dudes that we're not playing any of these hot streaks that these guys tend to have. It's time to say goodbye to people who aren't part of your future. Your Patrick Wisdoms, your Miles Mastrobonis is your, people are calling for the head of a Miguel Amaya like it was a big fail. Why don't you flip some of these dudes that you're not going to use anyway down in AAA because you somehow drafted 700 outfielders over the last 3 years? Why don't you take some of that prospect capital and flip it into a freaking decent catching prospect? I know that's what they did with Michael Bush. They got that second round draft pick, and then the next thing, they turned that into Michael Bush.
And here's the thing. Michael Bush has gotten a very good opportunity this year, and we saw it at the beginning of the year. He did not play first base well defensively. You called him stone hands Bush. You were absolutely correct. He was brick hands. Yeah, of course. That makes more sense. But yeah, he struggled over there. Recently, though, he has started to look more and more like an actual good first baseman. Yeah. And good is sort of in quotes. Like he's getting up to around the average. But look, average is better than what he was. He was terrible before. And now getting him to average, and average is fine. The problem is we have only average. Nobody on this team is really above average. But it's the same way with Morel. He's gotten his opportunities over at third. Will he still make an error here and there? For sure. But for the most part, he's become an average third baseman.
I don't know about that. But
and the difference between a good third baseman and a bad third baseman is like almost nothing. Like when you actually break down the numbers and you're looking at what it means in terms of runs, like, defensive run saved and all this stuff. It's like one run over like 8 games. You can't actually see that unless you're looking at a calculator. And if you're looking at a calculator, please see yourself out. Yeah, I don't want to talk to you. You're annoying.
I mean, I think the thing with Morel that's frustrating is like he's not hitting. So if nobody would care if he was like hitting 2 dogs a day, like then it would be fine. They're like, well, he made up for it. But the thing you're right about Michael Bush, and we've seen him. I mean, he's an older sort of rookie, and he's finally getting his shot. But look at it, June 402 OBP, like he's leading the team in OBP. So he's getting on base in different ways. He's taking his walks, like. It's good. So I mean, we do see some signs of life. It just
Yeah.
might be too late.
And Morel, you have actually been talking about this a lot lately. They are breaking him at the plate.
Yeah.
Like he's still he still leads this team in home runs. He's among the lead in RBI. Like he's a good hitter that seems to be getting better in certain ways, but he's still working through that. You know what I mean? Like he's still trying to figure out how to be how to have a good eye and yet also be aggressive at the same time.
Yeah, well, it's messing up his mind, and now this guy that everybody said, oh, he's a free swinger, is going to strike out 40% of the time. I mean, he totally did cut that down, but now he's watching freaking strike three right down the middle. Like, hopefully that changes. Hopefully that's all part of the learning process. He's still young as well and team controllable. So, people that want to move on from these guys just because they have a bad month, it's so annoying. And I'm like, dude, he's $500,000. Unless you could get a haul for the guy, they're not trading him because he is better for the money. He is better than you're going to get for the money. Like you could pay a lot more for a similar output. You could play, you could pay $20 million and have it be the exact same as what Morel gives you.
Well, and I love that you said $20 million because $20 million is exactly what Ian Happ makes. Ian Happ has 69 hits this season.
Nice.
And Morel has 60, right?
Yeah. And
Ian Happ has 13 home runs. Morel has 15. And Ian Happ has 50 RBI. Morel has 46. 46 walks for Happ. 41 walks for Morel. 93 strikeouts for Happ. 82 for Morel. So, like, we're talking about two guys that are just right there together. One costs you $20 million and everybody seems to be happy with them, and the other guy costs you $500,000 and they want to get rid of him.
Yeah, it's yeah, and the same thing with Amaya. Like they're like, well, another failed prospect, and I'm like, he might be like this. It's not passing the eye test to me. I mean, he looks pretty lost back there. He's not particularly good catcher. He's not particularly athletic looking. Not like a Wilson Contreras did, but like, Anyway, we should move on. Shouldn't we?
Yeah, that is the biggest bummer with Amaya is that his defense seems to be going downhill the longer he's in there. Like and that shouldn't be like that. The more and this is where we started with Amaya just being terrible at the plate, but really it's affecting his behind the plate situation as well. That game yesterday was that pass ball. He didn't even try for it. It seemed like it was bad.
It ruined the game right there. I mean,
yeah.
Not that I thought we were going to win anyway, but that ensured we would lose. So, all right, let's do the pitchers, huh? Let's do some throws.
Throw up my hands to the Lord.
So, hey, Justin Steele is back, baby.
Yeah.
In the month of June, he posted a 2.13 ERA. He threw 38 innings in 6 starts, which is the most innings for the team total and the most per game. He has 39 strikeouts in those 38 innings as well, which, it's maybe not a league leader, but I mean, if you're averaging more than a strikeout per inning, that's really good. And he's got a 1.08 whip. Very good. The only thing he doesn't have is a win going all the way back to last year, because no matter what he does, this offense does not support him in any way.
No, they do not. Hey, I mean, maybe tomorrow. He's pitching tomorrow.
Yeah. Well, no, because they scored 10 runs today. They're done for a week.
I don't know. I mean, the Angels are really bad. That's who's coming to town. I mean, they're not really, really bad. But all right, let me just put it this way. They got swept by the A's. They are coming into town after being swept by the A's. So that's pretty much all I put in my show notes about the Angels, because I didn't think you really needed to know much more than that.
Yeah. Well, no. Then hopefully we do actually string together 2 wins in a row. That would be wonderful.
We're going streaking, baby.
I'll take any win against anybody at any time at this point. It has been so bad. We are beyond the halfway point of the season. Cubs are 40-48, I think. And that's just not good. It's really not good.
Yeah, they would need to have kind of an absurd. They need to go. What are they right now? 40 what?
Let me find them. They
40.
are 40-48, which is a 455 winning percentage.
So to get 85 wins and maybe get that third wild card spot, they would need to go 45-29. Like, do you see that? I mean, that's a big swing.
If they go 45-29, these next few months is going to be fun as hell.
Oh yeah.
But I would not be writing that into your calendar. All right, let's move on to the blows here.
I also wouldn't be shocked if that happens. Like, this team was built to. I keep waiting for this like streak to come, and that for them to all click on a level, and it just hasn't happened. And I'm like, well, maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah, there's a lot going into this. Here, play the blows.
Oh, okay.
And I think it'll bring us right into it.
Okay. All right, sounds good.
You just put your lips together and blow.
Yeah, you may have noticed that I did not have a bullpen throws. I generally do a starter and a bullpen.
That's right. Yeah.
But there's just too much. There's just too much. This bullpen blows bad. The entire bullpen. It is insane how bad these guys were over the month of June. So just like in May, I'm giving the blows to Jed Hoyer, Carter Hawkins, and every other accountant in the front office who thought that this bullpen was going to work this year. Come on.
Tyson Miller was not that bad. I know the recency bias that it wasn't great was that yesterday when
Tyson Miller was not on this team coming into the season. He's only and they are working the living crap out of him because he's like one of the only guys.
Yeah, rented mule.
Yeah, they had to give up a pretty good prospect for him too, didn't they?
Look at this in the chat real quick. Dominic Galoro is tuning in at a haunted hotel. They're staying at a Virginia haunted hotel.
Nice.
You got it right in the chat what hotel that is. I want to look it up. That's cool.
Yeah. I want to know who is haunting that hotel.
The new guy's been doing okay.
What new guy?
Jorge Lopez?
Jesus, he's pitched what, like 3 innings?
2.1.
2 point. Okay.
There we go. He's got no strikeouts, no walks though. 2 hits. It's okay. 0.86 whip.
Yeah. It's a mess.
Yeah, it's a mess.
And honestly, you're right. Tyson Miller, he's one of the better guys in the pen.
Luke Little, not so bad.
Okay, Luke Little. Here's the thing. I can't stand what I see when I watch Luke Little. He is the epitome of effectively wild. He can be a shutdown guy if the ball's going anywhere near the strike zone, but no idea pitch to pitch whether that's happening. I have never seen, literally, I don't think I have ever seen a pitcher who flails around the way that he does when he throws the ball.
It looks dangerous. I mean, yeah. I mean, think about the Wild thing, Mitch Williams.
Yeah, was he that wild with? I don't remember his delivery that much.
Like, fall over.
Yeah,
Mitch Williams could not feel the baseball.
Yeah, Luke Little is just legs going one way, arms going another way. And the reason that he is so successful is that he does throw the ball up near 100 miles per hour.
Yeah.
And nobody knows where the ball's going. So, I mean, if you have nerves of steel and you can hang in there with that craziness coming at you when he throws, then you're going to hit him. But
I love it, though. I mean, 11 strikeouts in 7.1 innings in June. Hey-oh. And then you got 4 walks. So yeah, you got a little wildness there, but it's okay. 1.09 whip. And then Tom Cooper says Porter Hodge, the new guy, he's back.
I've been liking what Porter Hodge has done as well, but again, he didn't pitch much in June.
Yeah, 8.2 innings. I mean, they've really spread it out,
Amazingly, they're finally doing that.
Well, they've had to because of guys being hurt, and some of them are coming back. Maybe Merriweather will be back in a little bit.
And they finally decided that yes, even though Leiter and Neris might be the guys you trust the most, you can't just throw them out there every single day.
Well, Leiter's hurt, and he might be back this week. And then you got Keegan Thompson hurt, who they started to rely on. And then he got hurt right away again. Ben Brown, they were relying on for a bunch of shit, and then he got hurt, and because his second neck somehow grew a goiter or something.
He ruined his left neck.
Left neck. It's a tricky injury because like separating Siamese twins. You don't want to mess when you mess with the left neck. You could damage something on the right neck.
Yeah.
So anyway, So there's your throws, I guess. So
Dominic says the Wayside Inn, America's oldest motor inn. He says,
nice. Stonewall Jackson stayed across the hall.
Wow. Nice.
I'm gonna look this place up.
Stonewall Jackson. That's just one of those old nicknames that they just don't give to people anymore.
Well, there's not a lot of stone walls anymore. They're building stuff out of metal.
But we can move with the time. They could call them concrete rebar, rebar Robinson. Rebar Rocket. That's you.
Chain link cotton. All right. So who's your? Oh, we got it. Did I play blows? I did. If you just didn't say who the blows was,
Yeah, I did. I said it was Jed Hoyer, Carter Hawkins, and all of the accountants.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say Colton Brewer. I thought that was the lead up to who. You were gonna say.
No.
All right.
Look, fire Jed, fire Carter, go Cubs. That's my rallying cry for this entire year because it's been insane. I just can't believe what we're seeing. And I'm getting real close to losing my shit for Rat Face too. Like Craig Counsell, come on, dude. Like the whole, and we're gonna get into this in a minute here. The whole idea that Justin Steele, his temper tantrum that he threw, was somehow
this one. Dreamed.
Was somehow like good for the team because at least somebody showed some emotion. Craig Counsell, like even if it's fake, you have to try something. Like it's insane how checked out he seems.
And he can't be, right? I mean, I got to think that he's trying to motivate these guys in whatever way he can. I mean, he's kind of new. I mean, sometimes this happens that you bring in the new guy and everybody's not really firing on all cylinders. That's why I think there maybe is a possibility that there could be a better second half. Did they already dig themselves too big of a hole? I think so. But maybe, I don't know, the rest of the league will continue to suck. I don't know, because they all suck. All the teams suck except for like 3.
Yeah.
And we're playing them all this week. You got the Orioles coming up, and they're the best team in baseball. We just played the second best team in baseball and somehow won a game against a very good pitcher, by the way. He had gone like a complete game.
Yeah. Oh, he came off of a great outing, but I think that's one of those, you just come off of a great game, like one of your best games, and then you're facing the Cubs and you're like, man, I got this in the bag.
I don't even have to study for this, Teach.
And then Ian Happ comes up with two 3-run homers in one game, and you're like, God damn.
Hitting like he's in Cincinnati.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I heard what you said on Cubs Pod. I totally agreed with you. It seemed to me like a guy who lost control of his frustrations. And, I think he was yelling at himself in that moment. He wasn't necessarily pointedly yelling at somebody like in the way that like Derek Lee and Carlos Zambrano were like yelling at each other and like fist fights are starting. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It didn't feel like that. Like he wasn't, I think, coming for one specific guy. Just in,
If
Do
he
you think
was coming for a specific guy, he was coming for Horner because Horner was really bad that inning. But we'll talk about that here in a minute. Are we going to go to the break here and hit the Son Ranto silhouette?
oh yeah, do you have one?
I do.
Oh, cool. All right, sounds
All
good.
right. Who's that? Cubby. Here he is. This one could be tough. I'm going to give you a little hint. He was an outfielder when the Cubs were both very good and very bad.
Little guy.
Yeah, he seems very little in this picture, and it's not a picture at Wrigley Field, so that's not going to help you. I think that looks like the Cardinals maybe behind him.
Yeah, well, I don't know.
Could be Arizona as well.
Arizona.
No, it's
Well,
got to be
no,
Cardinals because
outside,
Arizona would be in the dome. So if
Angels.
anybody knows what this is, start posting
Oh.
in the chat, and then we are going to break, and we'll be right back to show you.
Well, let me give you another hint because that's the Angels in the background. So we don't play the Angels that much, I don't think.
Oh, is that the Angels
Yeah.
in there?
So
Okay.
that'll narrow. I mean, we didn't used to play the Angels
And
that much.
it's in Anaheim.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, all right. So I'm going to play a commercial for Patreon, and we'll be right back. Please join us at patreon.com/sunranto, and we'll love you forever. All over Chicagoland, there are thirsty, frazzled, overworked Cubs podcasters who are struggling to survive one more baseball season in the dog-eat-dog world of unpaid content creation. But it doesn't have to be this way. You can make a difference. Become a super ranter at patreon.com/sunranto, where your support ensures that poor, sad, pathetic, ugly, loser Cubs podcasters can pay for tickets and beer, and in turn line the pockets of the baseball oligarch Ricketts family. Just $1 a month can buy a scorecard. $5 a month can pay for guitar strings to write a Cubs song. And $10 a month almost buys one beer at Wrigley Field. Cubs content creators are the lowest pieces of pond scum garbage that slither over the face of this planet. But super ranters help them get drunk and screw off at baseball games. What do you get out of it? The Son Ranto Show delivered to your podcatcher without stupid advertisements like the one you're seeing and hearing right now. Plus, at other Super Ranter levels, you can get Cubs music, access to private Son Ranto pages, the Ranter calendar, and special thanks and Ranter recognition in our live broadcasts. Plus, eligibility for monthly prizes. What does Son Ranto get out of it? Your money. For tickets and beer. Go to patreon.com/sunranto. That's patreon.com/sunranto. And become a super ranter today.
This is Fergie Jenkins. You're listening to Son Ranto, the 69th Beth Cup podcast.
God, it just never gets old. All right. So let's see. Does anybody have it in the chat yet? Lou, I got Merton, I got Campana, I got Caesar, Samfold.
So good guesses, though. They're all pretty good guesses.
They are pretty good guesses, but this one is really hard. It is Reed Johnson. Yeah, do y'all remember Reed Johnson? He had the strip. He had the goatee strip.
It was bad. Not in this picture. He does. He doesn't.
Yeah, no, not in this picture. But I swear to God, I watched a game where he came out at the beginning of the game, and they showed him, and he had no goatee. And by the end of the game, he had grown a full goatee. It was impressive.
That's a man right there.
He was also known. One of those games, I think he dove directly into the fence. Do you remember that? Like he smashed his face into the fence at one game.
Remember David DeJesus doing that one time. So yeah, it's been tough. I mean, this has been a tough year, and now so they lost 2 or 3 up in Milwaukee, and that's part of Justin Steele's, I think, outbursts there. And I completely agreed with you as that he just lost control and then like, I it's fine that you show emotion. I don't think that he caused any damage from that stuff, but it also didn't fire up the team because they had just kept losing after that too. So it didn't matter.
Well, and I think that was the thing that got me was that I was listening on the radio, and so I didn't get to see it. And so I was always, so I'm just listening to Coomer, and he's talking as if it was this like some sort of impassioned speech, but it wasn't at all. He was like stomping his feet and shaking his hands and screaming, like, wake the fuck up. That doesn't help anybody.
No.
Like, that's not like, I don't know, get rid, like, let me explain how to get rid of the ball earlier, or, like, where's you been, like, he was just angry, and it was the wrong inning to do it because he didn't look good in that inning either.
Yeah, no, that's what I mean. Like, I think he was talking to himself, and I can see why he's frustrated and why in the heat of competition, why that would boil over. But this was not the rallying cry that people, I think, made it out to be.
And that's why I hated it so much, is because everybody did make it seem as if it was a rallying cry. But after the game, 100%, he had to apologize to his team.
Yeah, he did. Yeah,
there was no way, because they kept saying it came from a place of love. Bullshit. That doesn't, like, if you are saying it comes from a place of love, you have either just said something really bad that you're trying to come back from, or you're about to say something really bad that it's going to be tough to come back from.
Honey, you've really gained a lot of weight. Now, this is coming from the place of love because I just care about your health.
Yeah.
Something like that. That's the place of love, Yeah. Well, it's not been going well, so I could see why his frustrations would boil over. These are young guys. I can't say that I've never freaked the fuck out and had the neighbors being like, what's going on next door with Danny Rocket? Like, you could tell that I run a little hot. Can you imagine this kind of fucking running hot at age 27 with like a bunch of liquor in me? Like,
oh, yeah.
There were a lot of freaking nights that, people are wondering what's going on behind that closed door. But
what'd you say? He's 27, 28?
Yeah. I mean, dude, I've had some knocked out dragouts. Yeah, exactly. So let me and speaking of horrible.
And I will tell you right now, not a single person ever looked at me freaking out and said, what a leader.
What a leader. That guy's incredible. Did you see how he kicked that hole in the wall? That's what I want to aspire to.
Kid's got an arm on him. Did you see that beer fly across the room?
So the Cubs are 40-48. They're 12.5 back in the Central right now. They're 6 games out of the wild card. They're 3-7 in their last 10. They have a negative run differential of 26, which is not great. And then they're playing right at their pathetic. They should have won one more game, I guess. They're a little bit better at home. They're dog shit on the road. They got to fix that. They are 19-26 against above 500 teams. So that should be no surprise there. And then I'm going to go to the expanded standings here real quick. And, let's see, what else do I want to see? Oh yeah, the 1-run games, 14-19. That has improved slightly, I think, as a winning percentage, but it still sucks. And they played pretty good in clown ball, 5-3. More extra innings for Michael Cotton to not watch.
Oh, I hate them all. And by the way, I got caught up with all my poems. They are out on the Son Ranto Reddit page.
Very nice.
And they're also, if you're in the Discord, you can look at the Cubs poem link in there. I cranked out like 10 of them the other day. So now I have to start again with the Phillies. But if you notice, I've been putting their record if all those games were tie games.
Okay.
So I could look at that real quick. But yeah, they've had, I think, 7 tie. No, you said 8. There's 8 tie games. And if those games were ties, I do believe they would have a slightly better winning percentage.
Well, I don't know because they're good in clown ball. They needed all those clown ball wins. They need every single one of them because then you're taking a win away from them. You're taking more wins of them and giving less and giving them more.
That's true. You're probably
losses,
right.
But yeah, no, they need them. So the only thing I want to bring up on this one is the versus lefties. We are facing a lefty this weekend on Saturday. So 6-12 versus lefties. That's a really bad winning percentage, 333. So
Yeah.
34 and 36 versus righties, but that's not great either. I mean, but that's what a losing record will do for you.
Yeah, well, I actually brought this up in a very rant-filled Cubs spot a few weeks ago where I just lost my shit.
That was a good one.
When they played Atlanta, because Atlanta put the exact same team out against a left-hander that they did against a right-hander, and the Cubs changed up their entire lineup so that the only left-hander in there would be Bellinger. And they almost got no hit. Like, it was terrible.
Yeah. Well, we do that against righties now, too. I mean,
yeah.
I don't think that has anything to do. I mean, we're bad against lefties. That's true. But
I just don't think
we were built to do that, though. We were built for I don't know that we were built to not be a platoon team, like.
And that's the tough part because when they got started this year, they had a pretty solid lineup that they put out there, 1 through 5 or 6. And then they, adjusted these 7, 8, 9 guys, maybe 6, 7, 8, 9 guys, which is what you really should be doing. If you've got those guys, and I'm not saying you can't change your 1 through 5 guys. I'm saying that it's not a reaction to something. It's a plan, right? Like you bring in somebody to play second base. And so your second baseman who might be hitting second isn't going to hit second that day. That's what I'm talking about. But they did well. But then once they started to adjust every day and they sort of freak out and react, that's when I felt like the team sort of lost its way. And granted, there's a lot more. Absolutely, there's a lot more than just how they're doing the lineups every day. But I don't think what they're doing with these lineups is helping. That's my problem.
Yeah. Well, they're trying to figure it out, and it is kind of somewhat of a new team. Like Michael Busch is kind of new. The fact that Morel's playing every day. I mean, Amaya is quite new. PCA is quite new. I mean, a lot of these guys knew each other from the minors. Bellinger, he was only here last year for the first time. Seya's pretty new.
Seiya has come around quite a bit over the last few weeks, batting in the number 4 spot.
Yeah, and so I just think they're trying to figure it out and click as a team, and they're just not yet. They're just not yet. And maybe I really do feel like there is another sort of there's another season that gets played out and that there's a way that like right now we're playing at like the worst 10% of the simulation of the season that you could be at. And there's another simulation where you easily win 92 games because like this guy performs and they click and the batting average, the batting order is maybe a little different. And this guy never got hurt. And there's like some other way that this team was actually successful. And that doesn't make Jed seem like a total idiot. Like I feel like the truth is somewhere in the middle because this team should be better on paper. And that's why I think that maybe something like I want to put up this picture of this team meeting that they had the other day. And I don't know what was said at this thing or if it was even a team meeting or they're just playing duck, duck, goose. But Jose Orlando, he put this up on the Ranchers Discord. I think it was going around Twitter too, obviously. And I like what Terry E said afterwards, orange slices.
Yeah, that's what I laughed at when this came up.
So
I do love the orange slices.
Too little, too late. I mean, what are they talking about? Like, either way, like they're trying to get people like they show Bleacher Jeff on the TV every freaking 5 seconds now because they're like, and hot chicks, they're back. Like the Arnie Harris days are back where they're like, Here's hot chicks having fun at Wrigley. Here's Bleacher Jeff getting drunk. Don't you want to be here? Like,
I was watching the Phillies broadcast, though. I think that might be around the league. Might not just be murky, but I was watching the Phillies broadcast, and I was a little surprised these last 3 games at how often there were very attractive women being shown on the TV. And I'm not complaining, but we all know why they're doing that.
Well,
and it's not because of any it's because that they think that it's all guys like us watching these games and not women.
yeah, no, I've noticed, and but that's what they're selling, though. They're selling the ballpark, and but by putting Bleacher Jeff up there, it's like, hey, you could be this guy. You know what I mean?
They show hot women out there for all the middle-aged men to be like, that's awesome. And then they just keep showing Bleacher Jeff. And look, I love Bleacher Jeff. He's not drawing in the ladies to Wrigley, okay? There might be somebody else in that ballpark that might not have his shirt off or might have his shirt off for, particular reasons.
I think they're trying to be like, there's even a place for just a dude by himself. Just, because he's in a single seat. I mean, he's there whether, anybody else, there's the regulars that are sitting over there. They're always there. But everybody behind him changes from time to time. I'm there sometimes. Other people are there. There's a regular section, but then there's a bunch of people that kind of fill in. But yeah, he's there every day, and they just kind of want to pound that in. Like, you could be an iconic Cub fan if you just come on out, fly your freak flag and have a good time. And, and then $20 a beer later, you're just dropping money in their pockets, and, and they're spending a lot of money. I mean, let's face it, $233 million should buy you more than it did. Dansby Swanson is expensive ass freaking
intelligent spending, Danny. That's what I was told. And, that's not what we've seen.
I'd be pissed if I was Tom. If I was Tom Ricketts at this point, I'd be like, what the fuck is this shit?
Absolutely. Because you know what would really piss me off? When everybody says that I'm cheap and this is my payroll.
He got booed at the Sandberg statue unveiling that he paid for. He paid for the whole thing. The speakers, everybody to stand there. We got people that are working at Wrigley loafing, watching the thing. They're not cleaning. They're not stocking the beer. They're not roasting hot dogs. They're standing there for a half hour on the company dime. That's as bad as taking a freaking 45-minute dump.
Well, technically, all those people are contract workers. that didn't cost him a single dime more.
It's a sunk cost.
That cost Aramark or whoever runs that shit. That was their dime. But yeah, I would be pissed if I had a $230 million payroll and the narrative was that we were cheap. And here's the thing. And I want to make this very clear for people because this is one of the worst arguments that Cubs fans have out there. We say, oh, he's cheap because he doesn't go out and get these big guys. And then the accountants come out and they're like, it's $230 million. He's not cheap. Look, there is a difference here on what you're paying for and who you're paying for. You could totally pay less for this team and not be considered cheap if you were actually going out and getting some of these players that you should have been going for, but that's not really what they do. I mean, this was the whole argument with Wheelo and Billy. They didn't understand how we're calling them cheap because they're not really going after anybody when they could. And then we end up with a $230 million payroll of nobodies. It's bad. I mean, the biggest, quote unquote, the biggest name on this team is Dansby Swanson. He gets paid the most, and he's one of the worst players on the team.
Yeah.
It's terrible.
Well, it kind of it's starting to remind people of Jason Hayward.
I would say no, in the sense that Hayward was never the guy they were going to build around. They literally gave him all that money. They had hoped for a lot more, but their guys were Rizzo, Bryant. Like, at least he had other guys on that team who were the core guys. Like,
but they still paid him a lot of money. I mean, they paid him a shit ton, and
they absolutely
that's where the comparison is, though. It's the money versus the output. So, speaking of money versus output, I don't know what the Brewers paid for their stadium and what they will have to pay for the upgrades that they're trying to get from the state and that was voted down, and who knows, they're threatening to move and all that stuff, which would suck. But they had a disaster happen when the Cubs were up there, and some of our friends got hurt on this escalator disaster, and they got to fix this shit. I mean, it's raining inside. This is a picture of people piled up at the bottom of the escalator because apparently there were too many people on this long-ass escalator, and it sped up. And then when it started speeding up, it just started feeding people over and over and over again, all on top of each other. The Brewers, they made our friends from Chuggo were there at that freaking game. And there were, I think Greg Braggs was injured a little bit. He's still walking around with a crutch. So
one of their guys was taken out on a gurney and had a neck brace, like a neck stabilizer.
Yeah, Nicholas something. I don't know. I think he does their Blackhawk stuff or something like that. Anyway, so that's a freaking really scary thing, and this has happened before on escalators when they are too packed. This is a thing to keep in mind. If you ever see an escalator and you think it's too packed, don't get the fuck on it because you could end up having people fly on top of you.
This is something I'd never heard of before. Like, my thought was if an escalator were to break, it would just stop working, right? I didn't realize, because it was my sort of belief, and I don't know if this is right, because trust me, I don't get into stories like this much more than just seeing them. It was my thought that it just broke, and then there were no brakes. And so the weight of the people, it was just like a free for all. It was like
going. Yeah.
Yeah. It was like being in an elevator, and the elevator stops working and there's no brakes. And so the weight of the people just takes you down. But it was an escalator. And so everybody just rolled down. And once everybody piled at the bottom and there were no more people on it, then
it stopped. Yeah.
Then it stopped. And that's what I understood. I could be wrong. Maybe it's one of these situations like on the Cybertruck where the gas pedal just hits the floor and you just go flying. I don't know.
Oh, yeah.
And imagine if it had gone the other direction. Because first they were
flying them up.
They were going down, right? And then it would have stopped, so everybody would have fallen, and then it would have shot them back the other way. It would have been I'm going to put that in my next horror movie.
Well, the Brewers did make a statement. They said, after the conclusion of today's game, an escalator at American Family Field moving fans from the terrace to the low level malfunctioned. Like, did they really need to add all that? Well, say it was terrace to low, just so you don't see. I mean, this is the longest fucking statement.
What does that do for you? Oh, good. If it had been lows to the ground, like, Jesus, that would have been horrible.
Here's your edit. An escalator at American Family Field, edit, malfunctioned.
Yes.
Period. Like, resulting in an increased downward speed. 11 people were injured in the incident. 5 of them treated at the ballpark and 6 others transported to area hospitals with non-life-threatening injuries. Our on-site physician and EMS were on the scene immediately, and we are appreciative of their quick response. Unfortunately, the on-site physician, this guy, and so it's Bernie the Brewer, and just showed up and just didn't even say anything because he doesn't talk. Bernie the Brewer
showed up, and he's like, "It's a slide, dummies," and then he just slid right down past him and said, "Do it like that next time."
Yeah, well, the whole thing reminded me of that reporter that went down the slide.
I was actually just thinking of that. The Brewers have a really bad track record of people going down very quickly and hurting themselves.
Yeah. I mean, anyway, it's a tragedy. I'm
If
really
only
glad.
their team would go down that quickly.
God, yeah. If only, exactly. They're just good. And, what's funny is you don't see the Brewers reporters trying to go down the slide. They know, they're like, no, he's padded. He knows what he's doing. But the Dodgers reporter's like, I don't need anything. He ends up breaking his arm, freaking spraining his hip. Like,
Yeah, it was insane.
look at that picture. I don't even feel bad for him. It's just funny.
No. So the escalator thing, I will say, when I first heard about the escalator thing, I thought, so back in like the 1980s, maybe early 90s, Howie Mandel did a comedy special where he went to a mall and the escalator stopped with him halfway up. And they did this whole thing where like the fire department had to come and throw him a rope so that he could walk back down the stairs. And that was my first thought, which is absolutely not what happened. And I felt almost bad afterwards when I heard how bad it really was.
Listen,
but I was just like, what the hell?
I was making jokes in my head the whole time, and I couldn't. And I'm like, oh, Greg is hurt. And I wrote to Greg, and I said, I hope you're okay and everything. And then we were joking together a little bit about it. But I'm like, you know what? Like Cody Del Mendo was telling me that like he said something, and people just thought, well, a couple of things happened. They thought that those guys were milking it for attention. They're like, we literally talked about it for 10 minutes. Our guys on crutches, like, we're not milking it. Like, this really happened to us. We are on the news because the news called us and said, what happened? And we told them. Like,
Right.
We're not milking this. This is our fucking lives. So, you can't win. You can't win with people. You just can't. But I wanted to make like some jokes, just like I wanted to like do a Stairway to Heaven.
That would have been good.
Or like that song, Operator. I want to be like Escalator. And I was like, don't do it. You can't do any of that.
I mean, it's the perfect opportunity to remember those shoes that kids used to have called wheelies? I mean, that probably would have saved like 5-6 people right there. Just pop your wheelies out and just roll off of the thing at the bottom.
Yeah, kids don't wheel around anymore like they used to. I mean, that shit was annoying. You'd be in like Target, some kids fucking wheeling around. Like, kids growing your kid. Another thing I haven't seen recently is kid leashes. I mean, I don't see them. Like,
I don't know why.
Used to be, especially in the cities, people would leash up their kids and go around. I mean, I've seen like maybe like preschool classes go to the park in the city. They got to hold on to a rope or something like that. And they got like 2 teachers at the front and back or something.
Yeah.
But I haven't seen the kid like that. They were common for a while.
I absolutely had leashes for both my kids. It was a little monkey backpack with a long monkey tail.
Yeah.
Which was the leash. And then I could just yank their asses back anytime they went too far.
Yeah. Oh my God, this is good. Tom Cooper. Unsmooth escalator. Unsmooth escalator.
That's awesome. Wow. So those are the 2 greatest things that came out of Milwaukee was Justin Steele just losing his damn mind, and the entire crew at Chuggo just hoping to get back in one piece.
In one piece, yeah. Well, and also Eric Wheelo, we were texting back and forth on Monday, and he's like, we just ended your season. And I could not disagree with him. That Sunday loss was just kind of like, oh, well, that's it. There's no way they're going to come back from us. And I gave the number. It's 45-29 to win 85 games.
Right.
So that's going to be really exciting if we can do that, and frustrating.
The only thing that makes them have any sort of a hope is that they're 6 games out of the wild card, which that's a lot of games sort of right now.
So many teams is the problem.
But you got a lot of season left. I mean, we're not even to the All-Star break. It's possible they could chew through that and get there. But it's insane that they should be. We were talking about it a little bit before the show. We should be done in this season. There should be nothing to talk about at all other than just playing the kids. And unfortunately, the one thing that's going to keep these kids from getting the time that they need is the fact that we're only 6 games out of this wild card.
Yeah.
Like,
They're like,
they
"We
are
gotta
going
win."
to try to do all the dumb shit in order to get there. And
Yeah.
it's just terrible.
Yeah. Well, it'll be. Remember last year they played so well up until the trade deadline, which we're heading towards now, that they didn't trade anybody. Like, you could have traded Cody Bellinger last year and probably gotten a haul, but you didn't do it because you're like, we got to make the 3rd wild card. And now this year it's even worse because he's got a giant contract and a freaking, his own
A player option.
Player option.
Yeah.
So, and he's not doing that good that you'd want. I mean, everybody would want Cody Bellinger, but maybe not for that price. There's somebody else you might go get.
You would totally take him on the $30 million they asked for 1 year, but you don't want to risk him coming back.
Yeah. Yeah, you don't. So, I mean, I guess we could talk about trades, but we got a while to do that. I did want to say, like, some of these injuries, Bleacher Nation had a great article that went out recently that just kind of gave updates on everybody. And it was kind of interesting.
Oh, yeah, the 8 million Cubs injuries.
Yeah. I mean, Yency, not promising he's coming back anytime soon. Alzolay, end of July, that was a little bit of a surprise. I thought he was done for the year, but they're saying maybe end of July. A couple guys end of July. They're saying maybe Wicks the back half of July. I'm like, Brown also.
Okay.
Five finger Brown. Brandon Davis.
He's now 2-neck Brown.
Two neck Brown.
2-neck Brown.
2-neck Brown. Maybe be back at the end after the All-Star break. And then this is awful. Brendan Davis fractured his back.
I mean, he had back surgery a couple years ago. He fought back from it. He's had other injuries. I feel terrible for this kid. He was so good. So good.
He was having a good year too. Reports calling for him to come up.
If
there's no room for him because he plays the freaking outfield. That's the freaking problem.
Yeah, if I'm in his camp, I'm seriously talking to him about moving on. Because, look, and maybe if he was with a different team that didn't have 150,000 outfielders, you might make different choices. But with this team and the options that he has, like, I don't know, man. It would be hard for me to continue to tell him to, battle back from yet another injury in order to play
this is your life.
Des Moines again.
Yeah, but this is your life,
No, that's the point. This is your life. Like, at some point, if the team that has all the rights to you won't use you and you just keep getting injured at this minimum amount of money that you could be making, you might just, it's your life. Like, you gotta sometimes make some of the worst decisions ever.
Yeah.
I don't know. I hate it. I wouldn't, and like I said, on another team, maybe that's a different calculation because there might be opportunities. I just don't see what the opportunities are with the Cubs unless he gets back so that they can trade him to somebody, but they're not going to trade him because he's always injured.
Yeah. Nobody wants it. So it's just a sad story. This is a good, I'll brighten it up here. Caleb Killian, who really had a great spring. I believe he made the team and then got hurt right away.
Yeah.
And so he hasn't been around, but he was like throwing freaking gas. I mean, do you remember how excited we were about Caleb Killian? We thought he might be like, Wicks getting hurt actually is who brought Assad in. No, Steele brought Assad in. But
yeah,
we were looking at for that back half and maybe even like kind of emerging. That's who we got for Chris Bryant. So it was like, oh, this might be a guy. Maybe he's going to emerge, but he might be back. So that's good. Leiter could be back next week. Hopefully he's got that freaking one pitch he throws because we need it. Merriweather was throwing at Wrigley and he had a rib fracture. He's been out almost the whole year. So that could help the bullpen a lot. Tachman is light hitting agility exercises. So that doesn't sound great, but they're hoping he comes back probably so then maybe they can trade him. But I'm like, doesn't everybody already have him like Tachman? Like,
again, here we are with the outfielders who are injured and they're coming back and it's like,
where are they going to play?
Yeah.
Yeah, and then, well, I mean, you can get PC out of there pretty easily. He's not hitting his weight, but I mean, it'd be a shame to lose the defense.
But it would be, yeah, it would be stupid to do that because
He's the future.
At this point, you need him to. He already hits AAA pitching.
Yeah.
He needs to hit major league pitching, and whether he fails or succeeds, it needs to happen here. This is the problem with Jed Hoyer over all these years.
Yeah, just to remind everybody, like what he was hitting, he had an 808 OPS at Iowa before he came up. So he even had 5 home runs. You know, last year, and he's only 22, so everybody needs to chill the fuck out a little bit too. Last year, he hit 20 dongs. Like the kid's got actual power and speed. He had an 876 OPS between Iowa and Tennessee. And the Cubs last year, actually, that includes even his 177 batting average there. So, like, you know, this dude is rocketed through the minors. He needs an adjustment period. And I had this argument with somebody. They're like, "Well, DFA him," and I'm like, "What are you talking about? Like, that doesn't make any sense. Like, this guy." You don't even want to send him down. Like, what, to go freaking win the Iowa World Series? Like, who cares?
Yeah, nobody cares. And this is the issue that I kind of got into a little bit on Cubs PS Plus. This thing that everybody thinks everybody's supposed to be perfect. All these guys are supposed to be perfect at all times. Perfect is overrated, people. Like, nobody can ever get there. And if you expect them to get there, then you're just going to continue to miss out on guys like Estrada or McGill or whoever else that the Cubs have had who've gone on to other teams and played well because somebody understood what they needed to be or what they needed to do. Like, they have to have time to work on this stuff. Otherwise, you send them off, you get very little that you can't do anything with, because the whole problem with those guys is that you didn't develop them, and now you're going to get somebody who needs developed that you can't develop.
Well, and the thing is, they paint themselves into these stupid roster crunches with the 40 man, where they'll like let go of some guy that ends up being Estrada because they're like, no, we had to keep, like, what was that? It's an old reference, but who was the guy that, because they wouldn't put him on Hayward on the IL, that they lost? Was it Caesar or Chris Coughlin?
It was Caesar.
Yeah.
Because they didn't. Yeah. That was the day that he cut his hand. They put him day to day. They DFA'd Caesar, who ended up going to the Padres through a DFA style trade. And then like 2 days later, they put Hayward on that backdated IL.
Yeah.
And then he was out for like 3 weeks.
Yeah. So they paint themselves in these dumb corners, and that was Theo's time, but Jed was right there doing it too. So, you know, I don't know.
Jed was technically the GM.
Yeah.
You know,
No,
like
yeah,
he was making those decisions.
Yeah. He's the Carter Hawkins of the moment, you know, and in the best of all possible worlds, you've created this system where Theo goes, you know, they were talking about this on the Recap podcast with Michael Cerami. That was a good listen too. Cerami was on Recap with Gordo and Cap, and it was like, yeah, you go Theo to Jed, and then you go Jed to Carter, and then Carter, whoever he works with, you know, and then it's this line of things, but it's not working. Like, and so I wonder at some point, like, you got the last year of Jed here, and you don't want to lame duck him because he'll fuck up the team, and people are like, he'll make crazy trades to save his ass. I'm like, we're talking about Jed Hoyer here, like,
right?
The man wears khakis to everything. Like,
honestly, Jed Hoyer would fuck around that last year and make the team really good for the next president of baseball operations. Like, he'd be fucking around like, oh, this guy sucks. I'm going to get him for this guy who I think is amazing. And the guy who Jed thinks sucks is actually fucking good.
Yeah.
Like, because that's what Jed does. Because if somebody isn't like, I don't know, vanilla and down the fucking middle at like between 7, like, well, his His floor is 40%, and his
He's a high floor guy.
his ceiling is 75%. That's great. Like his floor, yeah, fuck off. Like I want give us the guy who can go up to 100.
Well, and that's why we got nobody wearing these things. That's why there's not anybody on the team that's going to be on the All-Star team. But I did want to bring up this this one thing, and I think I brought this up last week. But what do you think of these hats? I mean, they're kind of growing on me a little bit. Like at first, I hated them. I was like, oh, like I put the Tim Gunn, the GIF. I put that. But it's kind of growing on me. I mean, the jerseys are awful, but the hat and this one, it's almost sold out. I think there's only like one size left. I'm dropping the link for it in the chat if you want to peruse it online to see if they have your size. But
so I don't hate the hat, the design, all that stuff. I actually like the design and everything. I'm just never gonna get that color teal hat. That's just my issue. Is just the color. I think the design is good. I like that. If that was a red, white, and blue Cubs hat, I might be on board.
They have one. Check it out. Look at that sucker.
Oh, I like that.
I think that's a really good hat. And this is like the red, white, and blue All-Star hat. And I'll drop a link to this one in the chat. They're expensive. They're like, wait for a sale because they always do like 20% off, free shipping, blah, blah, blah.
Oh, yeah. You don't want to buy these prior to the All-Star game, especially a Cubs one.
Well, the problem is they're running out of them. This one has some, this red, white, and blue one. And tell us what you think in the chat, because I do like this red, white, and blue one with the star kind of on the side. I'm not crazy about the big Texas patch. I would only get that hat if I was going to the game.
Right.
And Tom Cooper says, I think it looks like the Union 76 gas station attendant hat.
Which, by the way, is right in my wheelhouse.
Yeah.
I would actually like that. Yeah, I mean, it is tough to get this hat because, like you say, Danny, you're not going to the game, and neither are any of the Cubs. I mean, do we have? We said we were going to get to this. Anybody in the chat? Who do we have that we really feel is all-star worthy on this team?
I mean, I would say that Imanaga for the most part, for me.
See, but not pitchers, because pitchers don't get voted on. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like they get chosen. I do think
that's who it's going to be, I bet you.
Yes, I do think it's going to be Shota. And I have no problem with that. I think he had a great first half. I think that he makes like 1 to 2 bad pitches a game that seem to go out of the park for some reason. Like nobody just hits a double. But yeah, I don't know. He's very good.
It'd be him. Maybe Steele gets hit because he had such a great June. But nobody's really elite. Like nobody really deserves it. Like this is a participation trophy. Cubs gonna be on that team. That nobody is gonna get voted on because they're that good.
So Seiya, the way that he jumped out in April, if he could have kept that going, he absolutely would be there. Like he was on fire, and he's actually hitting really good right now. It's just the whole oblique injury issue that killed easily a month and a half of his season.
Yeah, well, it's all up and down. Like we're maybe getting these guys back at the end of July. I didn't even finish the list. Keegan Thompson, no update too. And then Wicks, I did say him, but maybe at the second half of July. So that'd be help. But I just wonder if it's too late. But why don't we just take a quick break and then come back and just like kind of wrap this sucker up, tell you what's happening next and stuff. Because I didn't realize we've already gone an hour and a half. Jesus Christ. We can yap. And it's getting dark. So the fireworks are going to start soon. And I haven't eaten dinner. So let's move it along, shall we? I'm going to play a commercial for one of our sponsors, which is In the Clutch shirts. You should buy one and wear one. Code Son Ranto for 10% off.
If you like the Cubs a bunch, buy your t-shirts from In the Clutch. We've got all the best styles for you. Dansby, Seiya, Morel too. Clark Fly in his double U. Cody Bellinger, Smoking Dukes. Vintage shirts from days of old. Patrick Wisdom and Nico. You'll look sharp wearing your strobe. 10% off with the code SONRANTO. SONRANTO. InTheClutch.com is your store for the most fun baseball shirts on the planet. Don't forget to use promo code SONRANTO to knock a couple bucks off your purchase. Stack or die, we need more cups. Get it all at In The Clutch. Cause if you like the Cubs a bunch, buy t-shirts from In The Clutch. Get it all at In The Clutch. Get it all at In The Clutch.
Hello, the Son Ranto Show, the Chicago Cubs, 69 best postcard. Take care.
One take, Ramirez, Podscat.
One take, but you know what? He didn't take a lot of pitches like these damn Cubs seem to do.
Yeah, the Son Ranto Podscat. That's actually swings at pitches. Well, I'm celebrating my freedom, my liberté from being a drunk piece of shit for 30 years by drinking a non-alcoholic beer this evening on the 4th of July.
I'm actually rocking the Coors Edge today. But that's actually because we went for a walk, and that walk ended at a bar earlier, and I had 2 Saga IPAs and decided I did not need another one before the show started because that would have been bad.
So we got the Angels coming to town. They're 36-50, which is pretty much as bad as the Cubs are, except they're in a bit of a worse division. They have the A's to play, and they got swept by them, and they've lost 4 straight as they limp into Wrigley Field. They've got Griffin Canning on the mound against Steele, and then they've got, and he's got a 4.71 ERA. Then they've got a lefty, Tyler Anderson, so that does not bode well for Saturday. That's up against Hendo, who had that start that we thought he was back. He is not back. That was the Sunday game that ended our season, according to Eric Wheelo. And then Jose Soriano is probably I mean, he's not a bad pitcher. He's got a 3.77. He's going up against Wisniewski, who I went to that game with Crawley that Wisniewski pitched. And before the game, we're sitting there talking. And I'm like, Wisniewski, I really liked him. I remember Crawley and I went to his first start as a major leaguer a couple of years ago. And I really liked him. He struck out a bunch of guys that night. And I was like, Wisniewski's great. He just strikes out a lot of guys, but he always gives up at least 2 home runs. And that is exactly what he did in that game. And I was like, I hate to call it like it, but he can strike you out, but he also will throw you a meatball, and it goes a long, long, long way. That was he gave up 2 to freaking Trey Turner.
Yeah. And it's like the same guy keeps getting these guys. I mean, against Shota, who was it? Was it Marchand?
Yeah.
Hit a home run and then
Brandon Marsh,
or maybe it was Brandon Marsh. Yeah, I don't know, but yeah, home run and then a long double off the wall. It was tough.
So yeah, and so I don't know. If I'm looking at this series, it's a mediocre team. We're at home. We play a little better at home. You got to think Steele's gonna fucking shove. Maybe he gets his first win tomorrow against Griffin Canning, but
it would be amazing if the Cubs could finally get another series win. I do not think they've had one since the White Sox.
It's been
which has been almost a month, I think.
Yeah. Well, you keep losing 2 or 3. That's how you dig yourself the hole you're in. And then after that, Cubstradamus said he can't work on a national holiday, union rules. So he just texted me. He just wrote Baltimore Orioles, Jill Stein 2024. And then he goes, woo, woo, America.
Okay, so this dude started full trumper. And then he was RFK, and now he's Jill Stein. Pretty soon, he's going to be go Mao 2028.
Well, in the middle, last week he was Cornell West. I don't even know if he's running anymore. I don't even know if Cornell's still in it.
He's all over the map.
He's all over the map. I don't even think he knows what an election is. I think he's just picking things, and I don't know what's going on. I don't really have any announcements.
Maybe he's using AI. Maybe that's what he's doing. He's using AI, and he's like, I've already used Trump. Give me a different candidate. And AI is just like, Cornell West, Jill Stein. Yeah.
Well, he's running out of them now. Well, maybe when they replaced Biden with that California guy.
The California guy.
You know what I'm talking? He just looks like a California guy. Who am I thinking of?
Or maybe Gavin Newsom.
Yeah, Newsom. Yeah, Gavin
Yeah,
Newsom.
the governor from California.
Yeah, they should just like make it. Let's get even older. Let's put up a freaking hospice Jimmy Carter. That's who I want up there.
I swear to God, people are so stupid out there talking about this. Like, Biden goes up there. Yes, he looked terrible. But the other guy just sat, like, he could have not said a damn word. And the other guy just lied through the whole thing.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know how we're still talking about getting rid of the guy that just looked bad.
Yeah, well, because America. And conservative media bias, which I have proof of. So
Ooh.
I do. Yeah, but I'm not going to share it here because
I know, because you'll get assassinated by the king.
Exactly. So we do have so we got the Orioles next. That is the first place team in the AL East, which is the best division. I don't know in baseball, but they are the best team in baseball. So that's kind of cool. Go Orioles, I guess.
I mean, that's an away game, right?
Mm-hmm.
So they're going to be at Camden. That's really the only cool thing about this is that we get to watch the Cubs play a game in Camden Yards.
Yeah.
I've been to Camden Yards one time. I loved it. I actually watched the Orioles. I think they played the Angels.
I saw him play the Cubs there. I saw Jose Quintana's debut with the Cubs at Camden
that was a
Yards.
good one.
Oh, he had 12 strikeouts or something like that. I was like,
12 in like 7 innings.
Oh, yeah. I was like, oh, my God, we've hit the jackpot again. That's what I thought.
It's been so bad.
So here's what the Cubs are giving away this weekend, though. They got a beach tote bag, which I don't know what that's really going to look like. That's
going to be one of those super thin, like, grocery bags.
I think it might be better than that. I'm going to try to get it. We'll see. And then on Saturday, there is a Justin Steele bobblehead that's being given away. So, and he's wearing cowboy boots, got an American flag draped around his shoulders.
And when you pull the string, he goes, "Wake the fuck up!"
Exactly. Yeah, and his boot falls off and hits you in the face. And then on Sunday for the kids, Clark plushie, 1984 Ryan Sandberg one, which every kid loves Ryan Sandberg.
Yeah. And
who's that, mommy?
And what does this, so for anybody who's only listening, it's a circle with ears, and it sort of looks like Clark, but like it says Ryan Sandberg, but like what about this is Ryan Sandberg? Unless there's a 23 on the back of this, nothing has anything to do with 1984 or Ryan Sandberg or anything. Like it's, and then they're like, collect them all. I hope it's different games. Otherwise, they're asking families to buy what?
It's
6 different tickets to get all 6 of them?
Oh, yeah. No, you got to come back. Yeah. At least you get a game out of the deal. But it looks as if Clark was like smashed in a trash compactor. It's what this thing looks like. I mean, but I think plushie, it's like a pillow. It's basically a pillow. Like, see,
and you can put your hand in it, and you can put your head on it and sleep.
Yeah, then it'd be like a Steve Trout pillow mitt.
One you can actually get though.
You know that Steve Trout's like the freaking plushie people stole my idea. Suing them.
That's going to be part of next year's Project Warning Track. We're just going to get a whole bunch of those plushies and see who makes the best pillow mitt.
Oh, I like it. Just steal Steve Trout's incredible idea. So, all right. Well, we are almost done here, but we do have a Cubsler, right?
Well, not really. So the Cubsler, only one person got it correct, and that was David Elliott. So I'm going to put David Elliott in as the winner because, I mean, we're obviously not spinning a wheel with one name. But I'm going to run this Cubsler one more time because I really think it's an somewhat easier one to get if you follow the clues. So here it is again. We're going to run it one more week and see if we can get anybody else coming to it.
It's a weird week, too. A lot of people are gone, you know.
Yeah. So I'll read it again. In 21, this hoke was a joke. He got the hook without warning after pinch hitting versus the Giants, 2 games shy of a nice career. So, there are clues in here, right? The Giants, 2 games shy of a nice career. Hoke, like, that's a weird word. Like, come on, people. You can find it. It's possible.
I do want to pick a winner between David Elliott and not David Elliott. see if he can beat his alter ego, not David Elliott. Who would win? Who would win in a fight? Oh, good. I'm glad to see David Elliott would beat not David Elliott. Congratulations.
Yes. It would have been weird to try and scream not David Elliott in a spoonerism. So, Danny, I actually have yours written. And I just haven't recorded it yet.
Oh, I can't wait. I just love them so much. So I got one bit of news that I'm sad to report is that Vinny Natoli no longer a Chicago Cub.
Jesus Christ.
He was literally DFA'd the moment we talked about him. He was being DFA'd while we were making fun of Vinny Natoli looking like an Italian gangster.
What in the hell are they doing? Like, anybody who ever says they think that Jed Hoyer's doing a good job, just say Vinny Natoli. And when they go, what are you talking about? You say exactly. They picked him up and released him for,
Why?
They had to pay him like $4,000 to do that.
Do you know what happened? That they watched our show and they were like, oh my God, look who we signed. It's Vinny Natoli, the gangster.
They actually think that the picture you put up is the player.
Him. They're like, we can't have that guy. He'll kill my uncle.
Oh my God. It is. I just don't even know what to do. And I think I think personally that I nailed it the other day. Everybody says that Jed's one redeeming feature is that he built a good farm system, right? Well, what do we say about prospects who are never good at the major league level? They're 4A prospects. Well, Jed Hoyer is a 4A president of baseball operations.
Yeah, he is.
It's the only thing he's good at is putting together a group of people who other people think could be good, but then never making them good.
So far, so bad, So hashtag chance in the chat. We are going to pick a winner there eventually. But do you have any TFCs?
I do. I have one, and it really did make me laugh because this is a person who just tunes into the Cubs maybe once a week or something, and his name is Regular Everyday Normal Guy. And that's what made me laugh, because he said, this is about how the starters were so good. So maybe if starters weren't pulled so early, the bullpen wouldn't be taxed and we wouldn't have 34 bullpen losses. So I love that Regular Everyday Normal Guy thinks that, because I truly believe that Regular Everyday Normal Guy really does believe that all throughout Cubdom.
Did you see that his picture was also Justin Timberlake's mugshot?
I did not. No. I could not have told you that if you would have blown that thing up the entire size of my screen.
No, it's one of the famous ones now. I have, I think, a couple. Oh, I like this one. I saw this on Twitter. That somebody had this at Miller Park, which was a giant sign that a Milwaukee Brewers fan made. And it was shared by Wrigley Report. He just wrote brutal #Cubs. And it is a picture of Craig Counsell looking like he's in his own mugshot. And it says, wanted, stole $40 million, may be found in last place. Now, I don't know if there's a Cubs fan or a Brewers fan, but either way, it's funny because
I'm going to say it's a Brewers fan because they're really bad at this. Come on, people. Maybe found in last place. What are you, idiots? Maybe found hiding in a basement. That's the basement. The basement of the Central Division, like that's what it is. Last place. You can't just go to a last place. You could go to a basement. Figure this shit out, man. Somebody edit that guy.
And then I also saw my friend Alan, Irish Alan. I went to the game with him the other night, and we got a little bit kind of a stadium shamed because we lost again. It was a bad game again, and people are like, well, people like you keep, and it was packed. I mean, Wrigley has been packed all week. It's 4th of July week. Philadelphia showed up. There's so many Philadelphia fans in Wrigley. They're screaming, "Let's go Phillies!" Like, they're excited about their team. They're good. They got a good team. So they showed up in Chicago on a holiday week. The place is packed. Wrigley Field is a great place to watch a ball game, hang out with your friends. And so we got a little stadium shamed on Twitter. And my friend Alan went after this guy who was stadium shaming us. And he goes, "Mate, you live in Arkansas. You only wish you could decide at 5 p.m. to hit the ballpark on a balmy Tuesday evening. Enjoy hanging with your cousins and your sister in the arsehole of nowhere."
What were they saying that they were stadium shaming? Just that people show up?
Yeah, if you guys keep showing up, then the Ricketts won't ever spend. I'm like, they're spending $230 million. Like, they didn't really expect it to be this bad. It is like, I'm going to go to the game if I have tickets to it. And I got some tickets and we went.
Yeah. And I
don't buy
think
from the Cubs, though.
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't know how many pennies that you've put out there for tickets this year has gone to the Cubs and not to some poor sap that happened to have a ticket that he's trying to get rid of.
That's what, yeah. I don't think I paid face for anything all year. Yeah. So, in fact, that game, I got 2 free ones, and I gave them to the guy who called that guy an arsehole. so good for me.
Yeah, and look, I have heard a lot about these Phillies fans that they are only out here because they're good right now.
Oh, Dallas from Australia is writing in. Happy 4th. Just caught up with the win, finally. Yeah,
I'm pretty sure it's the 5th there, isn't it, Dallas?
Yeah. Yeah. When did Australia get their independence? They still got the Queen on the money, though, I think.
Yeah, I don't know if they're independent or not.
But the Queen's like in a kangaroo pouch. So it's cute.
Well, but no, they had to change all their money to the king.
Oh yeah, that's right.
No more queens.
Yeah. Old big ears.
That queen money just no good anymore.
Yep, doesn't work.
80 years worth of queen money.
Yeah,
just gone.
Yeah. So I got one more thing, and that's just that I did look up this inn, the Wayside Inn.
Oh yeah, the Wayside. Yeah. The Andrew Jackson. Didn't he say Andrew Jackson stayed across the street?
I thought it was in the place. Anyway, this place is supposedly haunted, and I looked up this review just real quick, and I found this fascinating. My husband and I spent the night in room 14 and were surprised how spacious and beautiful it was. This has got to be written by the Wayside Inn. After my husband fell asleep, I sat in the sitting room reading and heard very heavy footsteps walk into the room past me towards the bathroom. Without looking up and assuming the footsteps were my husband's, I said, "I didn't realize you were awake, honey." And when I didn't hear a response, I looked up and didn't see my husband. I got up and went into the adjoining bedroom and saw my husband sleeping and snoring. It was then I realized someone other than my husband walked past me in the sitting room. Later that evening, I placed several of my paranormal light up cat balls on the thick carpet on my side of the bed as I lay in bed. I saw all of them lighting up and flashing due to something making strong vibrations, enough vibrations to make them light up, or someone I couldn't see was touching them. The hotel is beautiful, extremely peaceful, and the food is wonderful. A very special place to spend the night. I'm planning on returning for another visit very soon. Cat balls?
I don't know what a cat ball is. Well, I mean, I do, but I wouldn't put them near my bed. Dominic says Stonewall Jackson stayed across the hall, not across the road.
Oh.
So that would be really funny, though, if they had like a plaque like so-and-so didn't even stay here.
Elvis didn't stay here.
There was a nicer place across the way back in 1800s, and he went there. No, the haunted thing is interesting. My son is actually going to a haunted place up in northern Iowa in late July. He's taken all of his friends. It's I don't know. It's like $400, but you can take up to like 15 people. And so there's like 15 of them, and it's not you can stay there, but it's not like a hotel. Like basically they just give you the keys and they leave. It's like an Airbnb situation, but it's a haunted house.
We used to go when we were in high school. There was and people from the northwest suburbs will who are my age. I don't know if kids still do this. Will maybe remember Cuba Road, and you would turn off your lights in your car and you'd drive down Cuba Road and freak yourself out, basically. And I never saw anything. But I'm gonna share the link to that in the chat. The Cuba Road. I guess there's a cemetery down there. I do remember there being a cemetery. I don't think we ever went in it, but we would turn off the lights, go down Cuba Road, and we'd get scared, but we were scared ourselves,
Yeah, no, I loved that stuff when I was a kid.
It's fun.
Man. It was great. Go to there's like the train, like a bridge, and you park in the middle and turn your car off, and then the car will just like roll away.
Yeah,
for no reason. It's like, well, the bridge might not be level, but sure. It's because there's paranormal forces.
Yeah, must be. Yeah. So hashtag chance in the chat. You can win the Frank Chance postcard sent to you by me with the message of love and doom. We're about done. It's about dark and the fireworks are already going in my alley.
Yeah.
They're already, all the dogs are, feel bad for your dogs out there.
Oh, my poor dogs for the last like 3 days.
It's a bad dog night. So this is your last chance to get in the chance. We got 16 people that put chance in the chat. This is your last chance, though. There's always more, though. It always says 16, and then it's more. All right, I'm going to draw it. You ready?
Yep.
Here. Oh, yeah, that's got to be
Blake
one.
Beard says that Canario just hit another monster home run.
Yeah, I mean, why isn't he up? It's stupid. The winner is Roberto Ramos, Captain Cubbo. Congratulations.
Wait, did he win last week?
I believe he did.
Wow.
I can tell you real quick.
He's on a roll. He's got more consecutive wins in this random drawing than the Cubs do all month.
Pathetic. So anyway, maybe I'll watch the freaking Iowa Cubs. It sound like that'd be a lot of fun to watch.
I was real quick for people who are looking for other baseball outlets. I was on Amazon Prime today looking. The Chicago Dogs. They started at like 6:30. They were on, like, you could watch a Chicago Dogs baseball game on Amazon Prime. And I was doing this instead of that, but I thought that was kind of cool.
You know what else I wanted to share that I totally forgot about is that Joey, Wrigleyville Bum, was on marquee as the fan of the game. That happened.
Oh, yeah, we saw that in the he posted a video there, and he shouted out the Ranters.
Yeah.
Not specifically Son Ranto, but the Ranters, which is actually perfect.
Yeah, exactly. So, because it's all about y'all. This show is this show. We don't want them watching this thing because we get shut down real quick. Well, then I won't be able to, I won't be able to say what I want to say and still, like, be in the room with the people that I want to be in with sometimes when I sneak in there. You know what I mean? Then I don't want to be known.
Yeah. But Joey, that was awesome. Congratulations on winning. I'm not 100% sure on what he won other than just being on TV.
Yeah, anybody can do it, I think. You could just, well, not anybody will get picked, but you can try to get picked by being the fan of the game, and he did. So congratulations to him.
And the picture that they put up there of a bunch of us was that night after Rancher Fest when the Cubs won at like 12:30 at night after the insane
I'm trying
rain.
to get it on my phone, but I can't. Oh, there it is. Maybe I can put it up real quick.
But yeah, so that was really cool. I was looking. Y'all might be, since I'm vamping for time, you might notice my shirt here. This is I believe this was a giveaway a few years ago. I got it at a thrift store. It's too big for me, but I don't care because I dig this shirt. The one they gave away today, that one was pretty bad. Did you see that one, Denny?
I only saw what it was, the artist rendering,
Yeah, no, man. I saw the people wearing it, and they only give out 10,000. There's 10,000 people going to be getting rid of that soon. So if you want just like a fun shirt, it is a fun shirt, and for a giveaway, sure, I'll take it. But man, I was unimpressed with it.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of don't like wearing Hawaiian shirts because I just think it's just leaning into like the fat guyness of me. You know what I mean? Like I just automatically I wear that shit. I'm like, all right, guess I'm John Candy. Like automatically. I just feel that way. All right, I am able to upload it. Hope it's uploading right now. Hopefully, it's
Tom Cooper says he didn't get one, but they were paper thin. Yeah, that doesn't surprise me. They have to do something with all of that fabric that they're no longer using for baseball uniforms.
So here we go.
The hats today. What do you think of the hat?
Oh, it's okay.
Khaki and black though. Blue. I would have rather seen it blue. It looked good until I saw that it was like actually black rather than dark blue, and the red ones sucked.
Yeah.
Sorry, Phillies fans. Your hats sucked.
So I'm going to play it. I got it up here. It's just a minute long, so check out Joe's segment.
Yeah, you heard it right. We said fans. And this week's Fan of the Week presented by Miller Lite. Life has been good to him so far. We're going with Joe Waltz from Osceola, Indiana. Now, Joe, he became a Cubs fan a long time ago, and he's now a high school teacher, and he's not shy about sharing his love for the boys in blue. From decorating his classroom and tons of Cubs merch to going to Cubsmas caroling with a group of Cubs fans known as the Ranters, Joe has earned the nickname Wrigleyville Bum amongst his closest friends. Affectionately, of course. Now, Joe says one of his fondest memories was when he went to his first NLCS game and says the atmosphere around Wrigley and the camaraderie of the fans is a feeling that he will never forget. So if you are like our guy Joe and you feel like having yourself called the Miller Lite Fan of the Week, all you need to do is go to MarqueeSportsNetwork.com/Fan of the Week. And who knows, just like Joe, we could be tipping our cap to you. Joe, here's looking at you, my man.
That was excellent.
Yeah. So that's pretty cool. So congratulations, Joe, and that is the show. So I'd like to thank In the Clutch shirts, Matt Cameras, Permanent Paintings, our 110 Patreon supporters. I'd like to just thank I don't know, you for showing up, Michael. We weren't gonna do this tonight, and we just threw a show together last minute. And
to be fair, it's my fault because I reached out and said we shouldn't do it Thursday because of the 4th of July. And then I found out, my fireworks are going to be tomorrow at Jazz Fest, which my wife wants to go to and I want to go to. And I'm like, well, let's do it tonight instead. So I kind of screwed everything up, which, by the way, is why IFG's not here, because we told her Friday and then we changed the plans, and I don't think she ever saw those texts.
Yeah. So we're just here. We're doing it, and we'll hopefully be back to normal next week, except for maybe with a couple wins under our belt against the Angels, maybe with one against the Baltimore Orioles. We'll see. But I didn't really have which song should I put up? Rob Manfred Hates Baseball. That seems patriotic.
Yeah. It always is. You're gonna have to load up a few more, so you got some different choices here. But
I do.
You're never going wrong with Rob Manfred Hates Baseball.
I agree. So, Spagog, everybody, and happy 4th of July.
Spagog! Happy Independence Day. The last one.
Yeah. Fuck Kings. Wrong one. Rob Manfred likes opening days in winter. Likes baseball games that don't go on too long. Rob Manfred likes more offense from the hitter. Likes juicing up the ball and hitting dogs. Intentional walks with just a finger. And old umpires who are always blowing calls. Likes the National League DH, but one thing Manfred hates. Rob Manfred hates baseball. Rob Manfred likes a
fastening the ball, dragging floor stitches, and half the teams making the playoffs. Rob Manfred likes pitchers who face 3 batters and not paying minor leaguers at all. Like the catch don't block the plate, but one thing Manfred hates, Rob Manfred hates baseball. Yeehaw! Rob Manfred hates baseball. Rob Manfred likes TV deals and blackouts. He likes letting the Houston Astros cheat. He likes how ticket prices keep the fans out and Xing teams out of the minor leagues. Rob Manfred's gonna bring us robot umpires to tell CB Buckner that he's been wrong. He likes putting money in the bank, but one thing Manfred hates, Rob Manfred hates baseball. Let's punch it in the face. Rob Manfred hates baseball. He's the one you gotta thank. Rob Manfred hates baseball.
Thank you.